Hey there everybody, welcome back to the Brotherhood Now, last time on the Top 10 Tales Facts, we discussed Tales of Eternia, which in America was known as Tales of Destiny 2, which caused a lot of confusion. But now, we're going to put this masterpiece down and take a look at the true sequel to Tales of Destiny 1, the actual Tales of Destiny 2.
Confused yet? Good, our job is done.
Tales of Destiny 2 was the first Mothership title to be a direct sequel to a previous Mothership title, Tales of Destiny. We are the Brotherhood and these are the 10 facts about Tales of Destiny 2.
Number 10. It was the first Mothership title to not have an appearance by Kless and Arche. In the early days of the Tales series, I guess you could make the case that Arche Clan and Kless Albane were its first mascots. Along with being among the main stars of the first game, Tales of Phantasia, they would also grace its two follow-ups with their presence. In Tales of Destiny, Kless and Arche appeared in the town of Armada. There, they administer a quiz going over previous NAMCO games to the main heroes of that game. If you are successful in the test, you get rewarded with the Throw Sword art ability. While as a teacher in Destiny, Kless is out for blood in Tales of Eternia. There, he makes a cameo in the Colosseum in the Inferior City capital as the final boss, where he directly challenges Reed to a one-on-one fight, in which you can receive the Eternal Sword if successful. In the harder difficulty settings, Arche will appear alongside Kless, making it a 2-on-1 battle, delivering spell attacks and making this fight all that more challenging. But upon defeating them, you can get Kless's bandana, as well as the Eternal Sword, along with Arche's ribbon for your victory. However, in Tales of Destiny 2, it would be here where the streak was ended, as neither the Caped Hero nor the Broomstick Maiden make an appearance in the game at all. Well, had to end somewhere, I guess. But don't worry, as there would be plenty more appearances in future titles for Kless and Arche.
Number 9, it introduced the Trust and Tactical linear motion battle system. Like the previous games in the series, Tales of Destiny 2 once again uses the linear motion battle system. Here it is called the Trust and Tactical Linear Motion Battle System. The idea behind this is to make you think more about the positioning and actions you assign to your group to ensure more effectiveness in battle. Some of the highlights include the following. To help with the coordination of the characters in combat, the game introduces the Spirit system. The Spirit points are what governs your character's performance in battle. The more points you have, the better their offense and defense is. Now, every action that you take in battle will deplete your spirit points, with the exception of standing still and guarding. These actions replenish the points. The key is to maintain high spirit points because letting them drop to a very low level will prevent you from even performing normal basic attacks, which in turn will force you to retreat some characters and have others take the lead. By the way, all 6 characters in the game can use magic, which is an interesting twist. Another feature the system has is auto-zooming. When the battle gets underway, the camera zooms up close on you, but when you pull back, or if your selected character is further away from the target, the camera zooms out, which adds another dimension to the fighting. This is something that would go on to become a standard for many games in the series. Speaking of which, another standard for Tales games would also be introduced here, which would be the grade system. Now, depending on how well your characters do in battle, you'll be given a positive or negative grade. With the amount you accumulate throughout your adventure, you can use them to purchase features that you can use in your next playthrough session. Overall, the Trust and Tactical Linear Motion Battle System continues the advancement of the series' most iconic function.
Number 8. Kyle Dunamis was inspired by Luke Skywalker. After the development of Tales of Eternia, WolfTeam had to make a tough decision. Either do another standalone game, or make a sequel to a previous title.
A sequel
to Tales of Destiny was decided, as the first game had a great deal amount of lore that was created for it, and it could lead to a lot of possibilities for future generations of characters. The lead character for this new generation is Kyle Dunamis, the son of Ston and Rudy. Kyle has a very similar, straightforward personality, just like his old man. For Kyle, the team wanted to present the story of a young boy's journey into becoming a great hero. This is quite a common story trope that we've seen in many kinds of stories over the years, but it was really made popular with the Star Wars franchise, with of course the famous character Luke Skywalker. In fact, in an interview, Tales of Destiny 2's producer Nobuyoshi Yoshihisa specifically mentioned Star Wars when discussing the development of Kyle's character. The similarities are indeed there. Like Luke, Kyle grew up without his father there. Spoilers, Stan dies like a bitch. Yeah, I know, it sucks. What, you didn't know? And along the way, Kyle has a teacher to aid him, and then goes on to meet a colorful cast of characters. Also, fate is one of the key themes in the game as well. And his hair is blonde. And he also uses a sword. Oh, shut up, it counts. In any event, Kyle learns and grows his power with the help of others, just like Luke did in the original Star Wars trilogy. And then it would all get ruined in The Last Jedi. But hey, let's not open up that can of worms. Hey, in our Star Wars universe, the numbers 7, 8, and probably 9 don't exist. Selective amnesia. It's such a wonderful thing.
Number 7. The names of the villains were taken from Demonology. The game's main antagonist, Barbados Gautier, is one bad dude, to put it lightly. He is widely viewed as one of the series' marquee villains, which makes sense since he is one of the few that managed to kill one of the series' main heroes. Barbados is a resurrected assassin looking to rewrite history. He's a ruthless warrior who carries a big axe and really dislikes it when you use an item. His name is taken from demonology, which is the study of demons, of course. His name can be found in the Lesser Key of Solomon, which was made in the mid-17th century, and it is divided into 5 books. His name is taken from the 8th demon of the Lesser Key of Solomon, Duke Barbados, who is an Earl and Duke of Hell. He commands 30 legions of demons and has 4 kings to command his forces. His name means bearded one too, by the way. Many other villains in the game also got their names from the Lesser Key of Solomon. Along with Barbados, this includes Sabnock, Demilion, Gasp, Ose, Vasago, Beer, Glacilabalas, Fornis, Halfis, and Vapor as well. If you're going to find names for villains, I guess Demonology is just as good a place as any.
Number 6. The voice acting was recorded in the order of the game's events. When the reviews came out for Tales of Destiny 2, critics in generally really praised the game's story as it was seen as one of the high points. For many, the story's use of time travel was very well done in this instance. You know, time travel as a plot device can be very tricky to handle because, if done wrong, which is very easy to do, it can create a ton of holes in a game's narrative. Hey, just look at Sonic 06 for an example. In addition to the world building and pacing, the game's voice acting was also highly praised as well. Now, unlike previous games in the series, in which the voice acting was done out of order, and it's kind of a common practice, here, for Tales of Destiny 2, the game had the voice actors record all of their dialogue in the sequence of the story's events. On the upside to this, recording the acting in this manner really will help add more weight and emotion to the game's events. So, to that end, it was actually really successful. However, doing this also has its fair share of problems. Producer Nobuyoshi Yoshihisa explained that while it did allow for more emotions to be better conveyed, it also created a great strain on the actors. It created a lot of difficulties with scheduling, as voice actors have many projects that they have to work on. And, you know, they also have these things called lives. So securing schedules for them in this manner was quite challenging. However, despite the various difficulties for everyone involved, the plan still worked out, as Tales of Destiny 2's story was able to successfully convey the emotion it was looking for.
Number 5. It received a PSP port thanks to the success of Eternia. The PSP port of Tales of Eternia was released in Japan on March 3, 2005. Get it? It was released on 3/3, because it was the 3rd game in the series. It would go on to become very successful, as it was met with good reviews and, more importantly, good sales. By December of 2007, it had sold 398,000 copies worldwide. NAMCO, seeing profit from this little handheld adventure, decided to give the same treatment to Tales of Destiny 2, which became the 97th game to be released on the PSP console. Development began in 2005 by Alpha System, which often worked with the Tales team when it came to spin-offs. Tales of Destiny 2 on the PSP retained much of the content from the original and made some more additions. Changes made to the PSP port as compared to the original include making tweaks to the control system to adjust to the new platform, the aspect ratio being changed from the original 4.3 to 16.9 of the PSP, and a brand new event added to the story. The PlayStation Portable take on Tales of Destiny 2 was released on February 15, 2007. However, it would unfortunately not come out in Europe or the United States. Overall, the game would go on to reach 129,000 copies sold. Not too shabby.
Number 4. Tensions between America and Iraq canceled its world tour. After the game's initial release in Japan, Tales of Destiny 2 would go on to get releases in China and South Korea both in 2003. Afterwards, the game was going to take part in a world tour held by Sony Computer Entertainment to help promote the new upcoming generation of role-playing games. The tour was to be called Let's Travel the World RPG, and this ambitious campaign would have been a luxurious overseas trip, which would have also had prizes for some lucky winners. However, the real world happened and had to intervene. It had been 2 years since the horrible terror attacks of 9/11 and the World Trade Centers getting destroyed. It was at this time that tensions between the United States and Iraq were at its highest. In fact, the Iraq War would end up beginning about a month or so after the tour was supposed to be held. With this, Sony decided that it was just far too dangerous to have their tour, as there was no way to guarantee safety. And at the end of the day, that should always be the top priority. And with the fear of a possible terrorist attack, it's very easy to see why the event had to be canceled. And at the end of the day, it's also a very subtle reminder as to why we all like to play video games, to escape the real world for a bit of time.
Number 3. Namco created a custom PlayStation 2 memory card to help promote it. Being that this was the sequel to one of the Tales series' biggest and most popular successes, Destiny 2 was a pretty big deal on its release, and Namco put quite a bit of effort into promotion, so they produced some nice Destiny 2 swag. One of which was this sweet custom-made PlayStation 2 memory card. If you were into importing back then, you could order one for about $22. Nowadays though, it's maybe very difficult to come by one, and if you do, you may have to pay a pretty penny. But that was not all. There was also a competition which gave out some top prizes as well. These include Destiny 2 script books, which were autographed by the voice actors, and a limited edition DVD and interviews from the voice cast. And if that was not enough, there were also a downloadable ringtone of the theme song and main character screens for mobile phone devices. Namco really tried to make Tales of Destiny 2's November 2002 release as big a deal as possible. Pre-orders can leave a required taste in one's mouth, but sometimes you can get some nice stuff to go with the game.
Number 2. It's the oldest Mothership title to not get a Western release. The decision to rename Tales of Eternia to Tales of Destiny 2 when it came to North America was a decision that would haunt the Tales fanbase outside of Japan, as the next game to come after was the actual sequel to the 1997 release. Now, recently, we here in the good old US have been pretty lucky to get a fairly constant release of Tales games. I say lucky because, believe it or not, there was actually a gap in the time period where we were getting jacked. Ironically, it took a huge loss of money before Namco finally changed gears. But more on that in a future episode. But because of this name change, among probably other things, the actual Tales of Destiny 2 did not get localized. Because if they did, it probably would have caused a lot more confusion, because now we'd have 2 copies of Tales of Destiny 2. Which one's the real one? So, Namco left their English-speaking audience out of the loop, and unable to experience the complete arc of Destiny. Overall, Tales of Destiny 2 is one of several Mothership titles that have not yet been released in America. Maybe one day Namco will wise up and release a collection that includes all these wonderful games. I mean, why not? We've seen it done with other franchises. Hey, we North American Tales fans have, over time, just kind of learned to hope for the best. I mean, look at Square Enix. They were able to make compilations of several games on the PS1, like the Final Fantasy Chronicles and Final Fantasy Anthology Collection. Wake up, Namco. People even to today are still hoping for those missing games to someday get a port.
And number 1, it was the last Tales game made by the original WOLFTEAM. Tales of Destiny 2 took 2 years to complete with the help of Nelnet Japan. By the end, the effort was well worth it for WOLFTEAM as it became another success in the series, but it also turned out to be the last Tales game made under that name. On March 31st, 2003, Namco officially announced the creation of Namco Tales Studio. This would be a joint venture between Namco and Nippon Telenet. This group would go on to produce and/or develop the rest of the games in the series, excluding Tales of Legendia and Tales of Innocence. That was until 2011, where Namco Tales Studios was dissolved and merged with its developer, Namco Bandai Games. So even though the company would exist for a few more years to come, Tales of Destiny 2 was sort of an end of an era, as it was acquired by NAMCO and rebranded. But it was still not the end for the Tales series, as Tales of Destiny 2 would allow the series to continue to grow and prosper. It still remains without an official release here in America, but one thing is for sure, and that is that you most certainly cannot say the same about the next game to come afterwards. And that's our list. Make sure to like and leave a comment down below.
That's right, everybody, and of course you can also click that little bell down below so you can become part of our notification squad and be informed whenever we release a new video so you can be one of the first people to check it out. Also, before you go, have you guys ever played Tales of Destiny 2? Did you import it? Were you able to get past the Japanese dialogue? Did you enjoy it? Please let us know in the comments below what you thought of the game. We would love to hear from you. I wonder what the next chronological Tales game we're supposed to be viewing is.